So the topic what we are going to decide today is a common problem with everyone applying for jobs but not receiving any responses back. This is one of the major problem which many of the job seekers face. I'm sure every one of you might have faced if you are um, searching for the job, or you might have faced it whenever you have searched for the job in the past. Okay, so this is a problem I wanted to address today, and I wanted to focus more on Canada. But if there is any people who are outside Canada, because this is generic topic and we released it online, I'm sure many people from outside Canada might have also registered for this. Is there anyone who is outside Canada, like in India or in UAE or in UK or in Australia? So
Yes,
Sai Kiran, which country are you from? Where are you
India,
looking?
India.
You're looking for jobs in India. Okay. What about you, Siva?
In US.
In US. Okay, so let's get started. When we are applying for the jobs, um, sometimes people keep applying, and then they tend to hear no responses back to them from the recruiters. But then this keeps the candidates very demotivating, and sometimes people stop the job search, or sometimes they change the profession, or sometimes they go for survival jobs without waiting for getting the IT job. So this is more focused on IT jobs. So here we are going to discuss about some of the common problems. Okay, so in the whole process of job search, let us see what are the artifacts, who are the stakeholders, and what are the people who are involved in the middle. So number one is people who are involved are number one, the job seeker, which is you, and then comes the recruiter or HR, who advertises the vacancy and who collects the resume. Roughly about 70% of the people are recruiters, and 30% of the people are HRs. HRs are the company recruiters. So in Canada, the overall jobs, 70% of the jobs are advertised by the recruitment agencies, and they recruit for the companies. And sometimes some companies don't hire recruitment agencies, and they will directly scout for the candidates themselves. So it is 70-30 ratio. And then comes the hiring manager, or the technical person within the company who does your technical round. And then the again HR, who gives you an offer letter. So these are the stakeholders involved in the entire job search. So number one, the job seeker. Number two, the recruiter. Number three, the technical person, or the technical interviewer, or the hiring manager, irrespective of how many rounds we have. And then again comes the HR, who gives you offer letter. So these are the people who are involved. And what are the artifacts or the activities which are involved in this process? Number one, the first artifact is your resume. That is going to be your number one weapon for job search. And then the job sites where you apply. Sometimes it might be a third party job site aggregator like LinkedIn, Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter, everything. And sometimes you apply for jobs directly in the Canada, in the company websites. So this is the second artifact, or the deliverable, you can say. And the third one is people, you go for interviews. So interview is another activity. It can be an in-person interview, or it can be an online interview. And fourth is an offer letter. When once you clear the interview, you either get a rejection email or you either get an offer letter. So these are the artifacts or deliverables involved in the whole process. Now, when people say they are not getting any responses, does it mean they are not getting responses back for the applications that they have applied, or the interviews, or the offers? In this seminar, we are going to discuss about the first portion. You are applying, but you are not getting any responses back from the recruiters or the company HRs. That is the first portion we are going to discuss today. When you apply for, let's say, for the sake of calculation, when you apply for 100 jobs, okay, you can expect only 10% of the responses from the recruiters. That is how the industry standard is. Okay, so if you apply for 100 jobs, you will receive responses, or you should receive responses for 10 job applications. And out of those 10 job applications, only one will go for interview. So the conversion rate for 100 applications that you posted, you will attend only, you will have the scope to attend only one interview. And again, if there are multiple rounds of interview, the conversion rate is 50%. Again, let's come here. If you apply for 1,000 job applications, you will receive responses to 100 applications. Out of those 100 responses you receive, you will get 10 interviews scheduled, the first round. Out of the out of 10 technical interviews scheduled, you will go to 5 second rounds. And out of 5 second rounds, you will get, if there is any further rounds, then the conversion rate is again 50%. So you will, if there is third round, you will go to 2 or 3 third rounds, and you will get 1 or 2 offers. And again, let's come back from the beginning. Let's say you have applied for 500 jobs. So you will get 50 responses from the recruiters, and you will get 5 first round of technical interviews, and you will go to 2.5 or 3 second rounds of technical interviews, and you will go to 1 or 2 offers. So to get one offer, how many job applications you have to apply? Not less than 500. Okay, so remember this point. The conversion rate, understanding this conversion rate is extremely important. The reason is, some people just apply for 100 jobs and then they keep waiting for offers, which is very impractical, right? We have seen just and these are the percentages I have researched over the years from 2019 till date. I have a separate research analyst team who analyze the job trends, do research on what technologies are in demand, and what is the time it is taking to get interviews, etc., etc., etc. So these are proven figures, and these figures are before recession, again, not now. Now you will see half of the conversion rate, meaning it is not 10% of conversion from applications to responses anymore. It is 5%. So out of 500 applications, you will listen back only for 25 applications, 5%. And then instead of 10%, I mean 2.5% interviews, 2.5 interviews, you will get only 1.25, right? One interview will happen. So because of the recession, this conversion rate has drastically reduced. But recession is always a temporary situation. So we will discuss about most generic situation, which is the 10% formula. So 10% from applications to responses, 10% from responses to interviews, 50% from first interview to second interview, 50% from second interview to offer, assuming there are 2 rounds of technical interviews. So keep this in mind. Now, when you are applying for jobs, what happens? You will apply for job in a job website, and those jobs, and you will upload your resume. You will fill all the forms that they have asked you, and then you will click on submit, and then the recruiters will look at your applications, and they will shortlist some candidates based on certain criteria, either manually or using some automated tools like application tracking system. So this is typically what happens. And whenever either the recruiter or the application tracking system shortlists your application, then they will try to contact you either by a phone call or by an email or by a LinkedIn message. These are the 3 ways recruiters respond to you. So this seminar is focused on why I am getting less number of phone calls, why I am getting almost no LinkedIn messages, why I am not getting any emails. Okay, so this is going to be the topic of the discussion in this seminar. Okay, so I have prepared one small presentation. So when you are applying for jobs, and the core reason for not getting enough responses from the recruiters are 6. Okay, so we'll be discussing all the 6 reasons. Again, these 6 reasons are out of my own research, reading a lot of articles, observing a lot of trends, doing a lot of research, because I have the history of placing about 900 plus people in the last 3-4 years. So it is with that experience I have prepared this. Now, one of the common problem is wrong resume format. Okay, some people tend to use a Canadian format, and some people tend to use a non-Canadian format. Either a resume that is prepared in India, they try to use as is in Canada, or some people try to prepare the resume in PDF format. Some use doc format, some use docx format, some use RTF, rich text format. Some people use single pages, some people use multiple pages, and again some people use Canadian and some people use non-Canadian format. Right, if it is Indian and US, again it reflects the Indian format and US format. Right, so this is one area where people go wrong. Okay, I'll also discuss solutions once I discuss all the problems, but not using the right format is one of the common problem. Okay, when once I discuss the 6 problems, I'll come up with solutions. And let's say they have used the right format. Okay, now if the format is right, we also need to have the right content in the resume. Okay, one of the biggest problem is people tend to put all the tools and technologies and concepts they know, instead of trying to put the content relevant to the industry, required by the role or demand in the market. Right, so this is one problem. So this is one of the common human centric problem. People try to put what they know instead of trying to put what the industry wants or what the job wants. Okay, common problem that done by 80% of the people. That is second problem. And third problem, not applying for relevant jobs. Okay, they apply for let's say they apply for Scrum Master roles, they apply for business analyst roles, they apply for project manager roles. Okay, but which one is relevant, we don't know. See, just because he has completed Scrum Master certification, he will apply for Scrum Master role, even though his past experience is a business analyst. Or Even if he's a quality analyst in the past, he will try to apply for a scrum master role or a project manager because he has managed some projects in the past when he was a QA, right? So not applying for relevant job based on the past experience is one of the common problem that people, you know, undergo, because of which we don't get any response. The other problem is people use too many resumes, right? Uh, I'm sure many of you people might have watched so many YouTube videos, TikTok videos, and Instagram videos. Many people suggest, hey, for each job description, you prepare a resume. But that concept was different. For the same role, they are suggesting to prepare multiple resumes based on the job description. But here, people misunderstand and they try to create many resumes. They create one resume as a QA, one resume as a BA, one resume as a Scrum Master, one resume as a project manager, right? But there is no focus which role you are going to, apply. But we cannot have multiple LinkedIn profiles. You will only have one LinkedIn profile, right? So to creating too many resumes for too many roles is one of the biggest problem. So you have multiple profiles for multiple roles, but in LinkedIn we'll have only one information. So when you send your resume and recruiter sees your LinkedIn, so it will have a conflicting information. So you won't get any response. Okay, and people tend to apply for too many roles. They don't focus on one role. If they have QA experience, they don't apply only for QA. They'll apply for BA. They'll apply for Scrum Master, as I told you. Like, I'm giving these 4 examples because people are more familiar with these roles, and no consistency in applying. This is the 6th problem. That we should have consistency. Today, when we start applying for job search, we try to apply for 100, 200 jobs today. Tomorrow you'll apply for 50, 60 jobs. Day after tomorrow, you tend to wait, right? You don't apply for anything. And the next day, you will sit idle, demotivated. And then the next week, you'll start applying for 10 or 20 jobs. So there is no consistency in applying. Okay. So these are the 6 problems. I'll again revisit each one of the problem in a more detailed way. But when it comes to what are the common problems people, get uh, people face, due to which they get less responses. One is a wrong format. Okay, so let's come back to these 6 and let's deep dive into each one of this problem. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask then and there. That way the responses and the answers will be more relevant instead of waiting till the end. So my suggestion in the correct format is, there is nothing like a concept of a Canadian format or a non-Canadian format. Okay, it's a myth. There is no guideline that the Canadian format should look like this or should not look like this. There is no such guideline. But there are some common practices or common ways that people in Canada look for. Like in a typical resume in Canada, you should focus more on what is your role. So you should put in bold what is the role that you are targeting. If you're targeting for different roles which are complementary, for example, a scrum master role and a project manager role is complementary, but a business analyst and a project manager roles are not complementary. So you put only complementary roles, so scrum master or a project manager, okay, in bold. And you always put your contact information like email ID, phone number, and LinkedIn profile. That way you are making their life to connect to your LinkedIn then and there, and also your location where you are applying for. Okay, so if you are not applying for if don't put complete address, put only the location, the city. If you are applying from Scarborough, put Toronto. If you are applying from Kitchener, also put Toronto, because they all come under within the same, even though Kitchener is not in GTA area, they are all come under in the same vicinity. If you are applying from Calgary, put it as Calgary. If you are applying from Vancouver, put it as Vancouver. Don't try to put the actual address, the complete address with zip code. You don't need to put. So your name, the roles you are targeting, and the email ID, phone number, LinkedIn, uh, hyperlink, and the city from which you are applying. And then you should have professional summary, which can depict what are the core strengths you have in your current role, and are the role that you are targeting. And then try to mention your education and any certifications if you have, and maintain a skill matrix, and put some description for each company that you have worked in the past. If you are a fresher and you don't have any experience, then mention the projects that you have worked in the past. But if you already have experience, don't put projects, put directly the companies and the responsibilities you have fulfilled in that company in that specific role. Okay. US format also is almost the same, but there is one addition to this format. Under each role that you have worked in the past, you will also mention the tools and technologies that you have used in that specific role. That is the only additional section that you will add in a US format, but not in Canadian format. Canadian's format is more focused on what tasks you have done in your past jobs, whereas the US format, besides focusing on what tasks you have done, they are also focused on what tools and technologies you have used, because the market size is pretty huge and they wanted to filter candidates based on the tool chain along with the responsibility. Okay, so this is typically what the format should look like. Whether it is a Canadian, again, as I mentioned, there is no such guidelines, but in Canada, these are the common sections which people should put in to get more traction. That is number one. Number two is, some people use doc format, some people use docx format, some people use PDF format, and some people use RTF also. RTF, and some people use ODT. If they're using Linux computer, they use ODT. Okay, so refrain from using all these formats, and use only docx format. Okay, don't even use PDF. I'm sure more than half of you people might have used PDF format, but refrain from using PDF format. I'll tell you why. Most of the application tracking systems, they don't recognize RTF or ODT. Some application tracking systems may not recognize .doc format also, because .doc format has become kind of obsolete, or what you call legacy. So the latest format is docx. So always use docx format. That is thumb rule number one. And some people ask me about how many pages it should be. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it is 1 page or 2 page or 3 page, right? I got so many offers even with 1 page resume and even with 6 page resume, right? So people always have the herd mentality. Like if somebody says, well, resume should be only 1 page, and everybody thinks that it should be only 1 page. But from an expert, I'm the expert in placing candidates. Trust me, the number of pages has no impact on the responses. But if you have to ask me what is a decent size, I would say an average of 3 pages is good. Okay, if a person is experienced. But if the person is fresher or junior, then 1 or 2 pages is fine. Okay, so This is one thing that you should make a note. Why we are using only docx and not PDF files? Because when you submit your application, let's say your the recruiter liked your application, liked your resume, have talked to you, but if he or she wants to, submit your profile to the hiring manager, then typically, like big recruitment agencies, they don't, send the resume as is to the hiring manager. They take the content of your resume, put it in their template, and then add some more written notes on this template. And then they send the final format, final document to the hiring manager. So if you send it in a PDF format, copy paste is going to be a big challenge. Formatting may get disturbed, and they will not be able to edit your file. But if you send it in a doc format, it makes the life of the recruiters very easy in making any modifications to the resume, and adding their own content, writing notes, adding their logo on your resume, and send it to the hiring manager. So by sending in docx format, you are making everybody lives easier. So to summarize, use only docx format, use 1 to 2 pages if you are a fresher, 3 and above if you are experienced person, and number of pages has no impact. Don't use PDF format, and there is no concept called as a Canadian format. All you need to do is make sure your resume has your name, the roles you are targeting, city, email ID, phone number, LinkedIn URL, professional summary, skill matrix, your education, certifications, and few points of responsibilities that you have fulfilled in your past jobs, and the role of the name of the role in that job. So this is what people should think about. Let's go to the second um, issue. Let's say you are very good with the maintaining doc format, you're maintaining. What should we write in skill section? Yeah, keep sending your queries in the chat. I will address them, each one of them, and once I cover all these problems. Okay, second problem is, let's say we have prepared a very good format, docx, and decent number of pages, but still we are not getting any responses, right? Then another problem might be, you're not putting right content. As I mentioned to you, the complementary roles are Scrum Master and Project Manager. But if you put quality QA and Scrum Master, it's not going to work out. They are not complementary roles, right? So it's the wrong content. So people always have this mentality. They will put each and everything that they know, instead of thinking about what role they are applying, what content should be there in the resume. Okay, example, I'll give you one example. Let's say you're applying for a business analyst roles, right? So if you're applying for a business analyst roles, let's say a candidate has a lot of mobile development experience in the past, right? So he will put it as, I have a lot of, I worked in iOS, I worked in Swift, I have done Android applications. Look, how is a development related to the role business analyst that you are applying for? They're not relevant, right? So you don't have to put all that you know, but you have to put the relevant content based on what role you are targeting. So if you are targeting only business analyst roles, then you should put all the content in the resume relevant to business analyst. But you do not try to, I know Python, I know Django, I know, project management, I know I'm PMP certified, I have worked on Selenium, etc., for a business analyst roles. It is never going to work out, right? So you have to, don't put everything that you know. Instead, put only that thing which is, relevant to the jobs that you are planning to apply. Don't make the resume look like you are a master, jack of all and master of none. You have to make the resume look like that this guy is good in this, right? So that's how you have to put the content in the resume. So just because you have a right resume format doesn't qualify you to get right responses if the content in the resume is not reflecting to the requirement of the job market. So don't put everything that you know. Instead, put everything that the industry or the job market wants for that role. So even if there is something that you don't know, whatever the job market needs, then you have to upskill yourself. For example, you have worked as a QA in the past, but you wanted to apply for BA jobs, but you don't know what is a requirement traceability matrix or what is a, what is meant by the requirements elicitation methods. So in such case, you need to upskill yourself in understanding what is a requirement traceability matrix, what is requirement elicitation methods. But since you don't know, if you don't put it, then it is going to be a deal breaker for a BA job, right? So you have to think very relevant to this. Okay, and the third one is, let's say you have the right format and your content is also right. Let's say you have prepared your resume as a very solid BA resume. Okay, so you're focused, your solid BA resume, and your resume format is very good, docx, 2 pages, 3 pages, because you're experienced. Now you will start applying for the jobs. Now, one of the things that people show desperation is they will go to the job site, let's say LinkedIn. They will look for each and every job. Okay, they will apply for BA job. Then they will come across some QA job. Okay, where they have a lot of things that they know. They will apply for that also. Then they will come across some project manager job. In that, they will see a lot of things that they know. They'll apply for project manager positions also. They'll go through, they will come across some DevOps job. They will see a lot of tools that they are very good at. They will also apply for DevOps jobs. So if a person who is showcasing the resume as a BA, if you apply for QA jobs or DevOps jobs or developer jobs, do you think they will shortlist your resume? The job description says DevOps engineer. Your resume says business analyst. Just because some keywords or some tools are matching or doesn't mean the recruiter who is looking for DevOps engineer's job will shortlist you for that job, right? So if you have prepared your resume as DevOps, make sure you apply only for DevOps. If you have prepared your resume as BA, make sure you apply for BA jobs only. Okay, do not apply for irrelevant jobs. Apply only for relevant ones, whatever is your resume more focused on. Okay, not too many resumes, right? This is one common problem. I used to have so many resumes. I used to have a DevOps resume, QA resume, manual QA, process QA. I used to have mobile application architect, mobile developer resume. I still remember I had about 72 resumes with different roles, right? So in the videos which you watch in TikTok or in Instagram or in YouTube, what they were telling is, if you are applying for job as a BA, based and if you come across any BA job posting in LinkedIn, modify your resume to match that BA job, right? Because for that job you might not have some keywords. So same BA job, but you are just modifying your resume to meet that. Now let's say you come across another BA job, then you modify your resume for the second BA job based on whatever keywords it is mentioned in that BA job. But Don't maintain one resume for BA, one resume for QA, one resume for DevOps, one resume for cloud, one resume for data engineering, and don't apply for all QA jobs with QA resume, all BA jobs with BA resume, all DevOps jobs with DevOps resume, and all data engineering jobs with data engineering resume. That is going to create more damage than helping you. Focus only on one or another complementary role, not too many roles. Because some people say, sir, I worked as a QA, but in QA I have done a lot of data engineering related activities. So I will apply for data engineering jobs also. How is it going to help? It is not going to help. Either you should focus on trying only for QA jobs, or you should focus on trying only for data engineering jobs. But creating a resume as a QA doesn't qualify you to apply for data engineering positions, even though you have worked in data engineering, but your resume is focused on QA. Now, what happens if you apply for everything? Um, People, recruiters will see, let's say if Sunil has a resume of a QA in the database, same Sunil will have data engineering resume and one DevOps resume also. Then recruiters get confused. So recruiters think Sunil is not doesn't seem to be quite genuine. He's not focused. So they will stop contacting Sunil, even though Sunil is quite genuinely experienced and have a very good experience in the past. But because of this blunder of sending too many resumes for too many roles, recruiter is confused, which technology he is good at, right? He will have one data engineering resume and he focus, I am good at data engineering, data factory, this informatica, blah blah blah. And suddenly another QA resume opens. I have done some testing of web applications. I have done some automation UI testing using Selenium, blah blah blah. So this is conflicting information, right? So that is going to do more damage than helping you much. So don't show desperation in trying to apply for too many irrelevant jobs. Stay very, 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 very focused. And that also addresses the fifth problem, too many roles. Never ever target too many roles. Only target one role and a complementary role. For example, data engineering, the complementary role is a data analyst or vice versa. A data scientist, complementary role is a data analyst or vice versa. A DevOps engineer, complementary role is cloud engineer, but not a QA engineer, right? So you can you can apply for relevant jobs and have one resume, but not too many resumes applying for too many roles. Very, 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 very damaging, right? People think that they have applied for so many, but you are digging your own grave when you do so. Okay. And last but not the least problem is consistency in applying. As I mentioned to you earlier, job search is an emotionally draining activity, right? You are very energetic on day one. You apply for 100 jobs. You are very confident. You are very motivated. Next day, your motivation levels are almost the same. You'll apply for 50, 60 jobs. Third day, you will try to see the responses for all the 150 jobs that you applied, and you will see no responses. So you will slow down. You will apply only for 10 or 20 jobs. Fourth day, you don't apply anything. Seems like there is no jobs in the market. Why these guys are inviting a lot of immigrants? You blame everybody in the world for not getting responses on day 4. So you won't apply anything. And next week you're completely demotivated, and then you will start changing the resumes. Oh, seems like my QA resume is not giving results. So let me try to apply for BA jobs, right? Or let me try to apply for DevOps job because I have worked on Jenkins also, right? So in DevOps, people are asking Jenkins. So let me prepare one resume for Jenkins. Suddenly you apply for DevOps jobs. Suddenly the recruiter who has seen your QA resume calls you, right? And suddenly when she is discussing about QA job, your LinkedIn is showing DevOps because you have updated this morning only. So then she will see conflicting information, and then she will don't take you forward, right? So you have to apply consistently. So what is the consistency you have to maintain? Every working day, whether you get responses or not, whether you get any interviews or not, always make sure you apply for 5 to 10 jobs per day, not less than 5, not more than 10. Even if you apply too many, it's going to damage. Even if you apply for too less, it's going to damage your entire job search campaign. Okay, apply 5 to 10 jobs per day, every working day, come what may, till the time you get the offer. And don't bother whether you're getting responses or not, whether you're getting interviews or not, right? You have to sow the seeds. You will not get the results when you sow the seeds right away. It takes some time for the seed to become a plant, and the plant to become to give you fruits, right? So you have to have that patience, but consistency is the key. You have to water it daily till the time you get the fruits. So that is how important consistency is. This is where half of the people go wrong. Too many, like people say, why you did not apply? I'm very demotivated, I'm not getting any responses, right? Why are you applying for too many roles? Oh, I'm not getting response in this role, so I tried that role, I prepared that resume. Why too many resumes? Because I'm not getting response for this one. So people have all these kinds of logics why they are not getting this. And remember one thing, like if you're not getting any responses, so from whatever we have listened, who is the major culprit? The resume, right? The resume job is done the minute you get a response from the recruiter. If the recruiter is not responding, then the culprit is your resume. Or if the recruiter is not responding, the culprit is you applied for a wrong job. These are the only two possibilities for not getting responses. Either your resume is bad, or your resume is wrong format, or your resume content is bad, or the jobs that you are applying for is not relevant. These are the only two problems. So you have to work on all these 6 factors for you to get good number of responses from the recruiters. So we will discuss about these any questions related to these 6 problems. Let me take each question. What should we write in skill section? So in skill section, it's a skill matrix. So you will may put about 10 to 15 keywords as a table, either a table with border or a table without a border. Uh, you'll mention, for example, if you are a DevOps engineer, you put Jenkins, Azure DevOps, Azure, Kubernetes, Docker. So like that, you will put about 10 to 15 keywords, preferably 3 columns and 5 rows. So that will get you 15 keywords. In the skill section, you have to mention the tools or the concepts if you don't have tools. Some of the jobs might not have tools. For example, BA jobs will have mostly concepts, requirements management, customer liaising, stakeholder management, etc. These are concepts. For jobs in Canada or even US as well. Can anyone apply for remote jobs in Canada from abroad without? So this is out of topic. But to answer quickly, no. Remote jobs are not going to work out between countries. Will table not conflict with ATS checker? Yeah. Some say it conflicts, some say it doesn't. There is not one ATS in this world. There are almost like 20 application tracking system products that are used by recruiters in Canada. Many of the some ATS supports table, some ATS doesn't. I always put tables. But I heard that many of the ATS doesn't support tables, but for resumes which has tables also are picked up. But it's your wish. You can take a call whether to put tables or not. So the answer is yes and no for your question, Hardeep.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Do you have any sample resume? Is it okay to paste in our group so that it will be easy to check it out?
Yeah, you can go to my website, rambabu.ca. In that website, I have created my resume. Since I
Okay,
have very vast 20 years of experience, the resume might be pretty 6 or 7 pages, but it will showcase the template.
template.
Yeah,
Okay. You said that earlier one complementary skill we can keep it up. For example, see, I'm an Azure
complementary,
data engineer.
complementary role.
Yeah, complementary role. See, for example, I am an Azure data engineer. Okay, and how we can keep like this one as an DevOps complementary role in that one? In which section? For example, yeah, please.
If you are an Azure data engineer, DevOps is not going to be your role. You can keep DevOps as one of the activity, one of the keyword inside the resume, but DevOps engineer as a complementary role will not work out. It will damage the whole resume. If you are wanting to
Because
focus as data engineer, then you can put it as Azure data engineer. Data integration engineer is one relevant role that you can put, but definitely not DevOps engineer.
yeah, the like we can keep like couple of points in roles and responsibilities what I have done in the data as an Azure data engineer, like worked on DevOps tools like Kubernetes, Docker, and some other tools like that. We can keep like that, or else we should remove those DevOps tools from that.
You have to understand the science, right? In a data for a data engineer, how does DevOps fit in, right? So a typical data engineer uses DevOps pipelines to orchestrate the data pipelines, right? In
Agree.
a data factory and everything. So you should know DevOps only till that orchestration level. But if you put, I know Jenkins, I know Kubernetes, I know Docker, I know Grafana, I know Prometheus, then it is going to damage the whole resume. You have to understand, if your focus is on data engineering, study
Mm-hmm.
while seeing all the JDs, what is the DevOps skill they are looking for in a data engineer. Mostly for data engineers, look for DevOps skill sufficient to orchestrate the data pipelines. That's it. Or to monitor the data pipeline. So you might need to add some monitoring tools, or you might need to add some orchestration tools like Azure DevOps or Jenkins, but don't put all the DevOps related words.
Okay. Great.
Again, people
Thanks.
think that adding more DevOps related roles will, give them more edge. No, it will do more damage, because recruiters will get confused. Are you a DevOps engineer or a data engineer? Right? If they're confused, then they'll keep your resume aside. They don't want to take risk. That's why resume should always look focused. They will have only 30 seconds to take a decision to shortlist. In that 30 seconds, they should get a clear idea. Okay, Srinivas is a very good at data engineering. Okay, I'll put him in data engineering bucket. But if it talks all both about data engineering and DevOps, then it gets confused in recruiter's mind, and she will not shortlist. Hardeep, is there any horizontal approach of putting information in resume, or it doesn't matter? Hardeep, can you speak a bit about it? What is horizontal approach?
Uh, Hi. Uh, like horizontal approach means like all the lines should be the horizontal. Like we're dividing resume into sections instead of putting verticals left and right. So it is
Oh,
check.
okay, okay. Columns, like horizontal approach means single column resume,
Yes.
and multiple columns means you will have one column here and one column in the top. Again, there is no specific, format. You can put horizontal or multi-column, doesn't matter, as long as it has relevant content.
Okay. Thank you so much.
But hi, I'm into this BA. However, in early of my career, I have a couple of years of this support experience, close to 3 to 4 years. So when applying for the BA role, should I mention this support or related experience in the resume, or should I skip it?
So if you have support experience, why are you applying for BA jobs?
Uh, you know, uh, First 3 to 4 years of my experience, I was a help desk guy, and then my experience shifted to business analyst. I was BA from then for the next 3 to 4 years.
So you do have BA experience in the
Yes.
past,
Yeah.
and hence you are applying for BA jobs now. But you also have tech support experience
Yes.
in the past as well. Your question is whether I should put it or not, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Definitely not, because you can't explain the journey from a support engineer to tech support to a BA. And recruiters also won't get confused. Instead, it is better to hide that information and show that you have only 3 or 4 years of past experience you have. That is more than enough.
Okay. So in that way, there will be a certain 4 5 years of gap from graduation to this, starting of the professional experience. Would that be
Gap is
fine?
a big problem for in India, but not in Canada. In
Oh,
Canada,
okay.
nobody is bothered about gap. Of course, you might get a question why there is a gap, but you should have a story to explain. But in India, the minute there is a gap, they will automatically keep your resume aside.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, guys. Nice meeting all of you. Next week, I'm going to come up with another topic. Thank you so much.